While I understand the weight of his responsibilities, it leaves very little space for us to connect as a couple, and I often feel like a bystander in my own life. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so I can continue sharing real, fascinating stories like this one. Don't forget to stay until the end. This story is going to captivate you. There was a time when James and I shared everything: laughter, dreams, and intimate moments. We built a life together that felt full of love and connection. But somewhere along the way, that spark dimmed. Our evenings grew quieter, colder, and filled with silence instead of the warm conversations we used to cherish. Now, I often lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling and wondering where it all went wrong. Despite everything, I found myself yearning for a warmth I could no longer find in my relationship. Before diving into this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more gripping tales that delve into the complexities of human emotions and relationships. A few evenings ago, while James was out at yet another late-night meeting, I found myself alone in the house once again. The quiet felt almost oppressive, and my thoughts swirled as I reflected on a recent electrifying encounter with my stepson, Liam. It had stirred feelings within me that I hadn't allowed myself to feel for years. I missed the excitement of being wanted, the feeling of truly being alive, something that had long been missing from my life. In an attempt to calm my restless mind, I decided to take a long, soothing bath. I filled the tub with warm water and lit a few scented candles, letting their soft glow and gentle aroma create an atmosphere of serenity. As I sank into the water, the warmth enveloped me, and I felt my body begin to relax. Yet my thoughts drifted back to Liam, his touch, the passion in his kisses, and the way he made me feel desired and alive. The memory was intoxicating, and a rush of heat surged through me as I let it replay in my mind. Closing my eyes, I imagined his touch and the longing that had sparked between us. The water's warmth mingled with the fire inside me as I recalled the way he had looked at me, his gaze intense and filled with something deeper. A part of me felt terrified, yet another part craved that connection. I felt drawn to him, unable to shake the feelings he had awakened within me. Suddenly, a soft knock at the bathroom door broke my thoughts. My heart raced as I sat up quickly, the water sloshing around me. "Who is it?" I called, trying to sound calm, though my voice betrayed a hint of unease. "It's me, Liam," he replied, his voice smooth and inviting. A shiver ran through me at the sound of his voice, and my pulse quickened. "What do you want?" I asked, keeping my tone light despite the excitement bubbling within me. "I just wanted to check on you." "You've been in here a while," he said, his voice laced with concern, and something else that made my heart race even faster. I paused to collect myself, trying to suppress the emotions stirring within me. "I'm fine," I finally replied. "Just taking a bath." My cheeks flushed at the thought of him standing outside the door. There was a brief silence before he spoke again. "Can I come in? I just want to see you." My heart skipped a beat as I realized what he was asking. I felt an urge to let him in, and before I could respond, the door opened. Liam stepped inside with a confident stride, and my breath caught as I took in the sight of him. His tousled hair, the fitted t-shirt accentuating his chest, and those piercing blue eyes made me feel exposed in a way I hadn't expected. "I thought you might want some company," he said, his gaze flickering to the candles scattered around the room. His boldness caught me off guard, and the tension in the air thickened. "I don't think that's a good idea," I stammered, my voice trembling as I tried to sound composed. But deep down, every part of me wanted to draw him closer. "We're alone, just for a little while," he said softly, stepping closer. I could feel the heat radiating from him, and the tension between us ignited something deep within me. The longing I'd been trying to suppress flared to life, and I felt an uncontrollable pull toward him. "Okay," I whispered finally, surprising myself with my own daring. "But just for a little while." He moved closer, his gaze drifting to the water. "I can't help but wonder what it'd feel like to join you in there," he said, his voice low and teasing, sending shivers down my spine. I swallowed hard, my heart pounding as my imagination ran wild. "What if James comes home?" I asked, trying to sound practical while secretly hoping he'd dismiss my concern. "Then we'll just have to be quiet," he replied, his smirk widening as he leaned in closer, the heat of his body radiating against my skin. Before I could respond, he reached out, his fingers brushing against my arm, sending a spark through me. "Please, just let me in," he murmured, his voice thick with longing that echoed in my own heart. I hesitated, torn between the intoxicating thrill of desire and the weight of my conscience. But the draw of his touch was too powerful to resist. Fine, I whispered, my voice trembling. But just for a moment. Without hesitation, Liam stood, pulling off his t-shirt before stepping into the tub beside me. The warm water swirled around us as our bodies drew closer, the charged atmosphere intensifying the moment. The world beyond the bathroom seemed to fade as we locked eyes, the water gently rippling between us. "This feels nice," he said softly, his fingers lightly brushing my thigh and reigniting feelings I had thought long gone. "It does," I admitted, my breath hitching as he moved even closer, our bodies now separated by only inches. The tension shattered as he leaned in, capturing my lips in a soft kiss. What started as a gentle exploration of unspoken feelings quickly deepened, passion surging between us. My hands found his shoulders, pulling him closer as I melted into him, the warm water enveloping us both. Our kisses grew more fervent, an intense expression of longing and desire that felt like a release from the loneliness I'd carried for so long. His hands roamed over my back and then moved to my chest, his lips following, sparking sensations I hadn't felt in years. The overwhelming thrill of being this close to him swept over me, and I surrendered completely. "Liam!" I gasped between kisses, the heat between us building, threatening to consume us. "Shh," he whispered, his lips trailing down my neck and sending shivers through me. "Just enjoy this." I closed my eyes, losing myself in the feelings he was awakening within me. Every kiss and every touch felt like fire, stirring something deep inside. My fingers tangled in his hair as he pulled me closer, our bodies fitting together as though they were made for this moment. With each kiss, the outside world faded further away, leaving only us tangled together in the warm water. "My God, I've wanted this for so long," he breathed, his lips brushing against mine before deepening the kiss again. "Me too," I admitted, feeling both vulnerable and exhilarated by the intensity of the moment. I clung to him, my heart racing as his hands explored my body in ways that made me feel alive. The boundaries I'd set for myself began to blur, and I gave in to the heat of the moment. He took the body wash in his hand, slowly applying it to my skin, his touch moving down toward my hips as the water swirled around us, heightening every sensation. Suddenly, a loud noise interrupted us and we both froze. The unmistakable sound of the front door opening sent a jolt of panic through me. "James," I whispered, my voice trembling as fear gripped me. Liam quickly pulled back, his eyes wide as we scrambled to regain our composure. "What do we do?" he asked urgently, his voice tight with tension. "Hide," I hissed, motioning toward the shower curtain. We moved quickly, ducking behind the curtain, our hearts pounding as we held our breath. "Sophia, are you here?" James's voice called out, the sound of him moving through the house growing louder. The tension was suffocating as we stood there, pressed together, hoping he wouldn't come into the bathroom. I felt Liam's warm breath against my neck, and the adrenaline coursing through me only heightened the intensity of the moment. The bathroom door opened, and I squeezed my eyes shut as James stepped inside. He moved to the sink, washing his hands, completely unaware of the chaos hiding just feet away. The sound of the running water felt deafening, amplifying our precarious situation. After what felt like an eternity, James left, the door clicking shut behind him. Liam and I exchanged a relieved glance, our hearts still racing from the close call. "That was close," Liam whispered, his voice thick with lingering excitement. "I can't believe we just did that," I replied, adrenaline coursing through me, mixed with an undeniable desire. My body was still humming from the encounter, the danger of it all only adding to the exhilaration. "Do you want to continue?" he asked, his gaze intense and full of longing. I hesitated, torn between the risks and the pull toward him. "Yes," I whispered, my voice barely audible. We stepped out from behind the curtain, our eyes locking as the tension between us reignited. I moved toward him, my heart racing as I pulled him into another kiss. This time it felt different. It wasn't just a secret anymore. It was a connection, a passion I couldn't deny. I let myself sink into the moment, the intensity overwhelming as I surrendered to everything I'd been holding back. A few days later, the late afternoon sunlight streamed through the kitchen window as I prepared dinner. The scent of sautéed vegetables filled the air, a stark contrast to the lingering excitement of our last encounter. My thoughts wandered, replaying every touch and kiss, every way Liam had made me feel alive. As I stirred the pot on the stove, the sound of the front door creaking open pulled me back to the present, followed by the familiar rhythm of Liam's footsteps. My heart skipped as he entered the kitchen, a playful grin lighting up his face. "What smells so good?" he asked, leaning casually against the counter. "Just making dinner," I replied, trying to steady my nerves. How was your day? Long and boring, he said, his eyes twinkling with mischief. But it's better now that I'm here. Really? I asked, my curiosity piqued. What do you mean? He stepped closer, the warmth of his presence making the cozy kitchen feel even smaller. I mean, being here with you always brightens my day, he said, his voice soft and inviting. The way he looked at me sent a flutter through my stomach, igniting memories of the moments we'd shared. I turned back to the stove, pretending to focus on my task, though my heart was racing. You're just saying that, I replied, trying to deflect the intensity of his gaze. I'm not, he insisted, moving so close I could feel his breath against my neck. I can't stop thinking about you, about us. His words sent a shiver through me, and I stole a quick glance over my shoulder. Liam, we can't keep doing this. It's complicated. He leaned in, his chin lightly resting on my shoulder, the heat of his body seeping into mine. Why not? We both want this, don't we? Closing my eyes briefly, I savored the warmth of his breath, the intoxicating scent of his cologne, and the undeniable chemistry thickening the air. I do want it, I whispered, barely audible. But it's risky. Sometimes the best things in life come with a little risk, he murmured, his lips brushing lightly against my ear, sending tingles down my spine. Let's just enjoy it while we can. I inhaled deeply, my heart pounding as I considered his words. He was right. I had been yearning for this connection, this spark of passion that made me feel alive again. Overwhelmed by desire, I felt myself giving in. Okay, I finally whispered, turning to face him. The air between us seemed to hum with anticipation as I met his gaze, a mixture of hope and longing swirling within me. Just for tonight, a triumphant smile spread across his face, and before I could change my mind, he took my hand, leading me out of the kitchen and down the hall to my bedroom. The thought of being caught flickered in the back of my mind, but the allure of the moment overpowered my hesitation. Once inside, he shut the door quietly, locking it behind him. The atmosphere shifted instantly, charged with energy as he turned to me, his expression serious yet filled with desire. I've thought about this moment for days, he said, stepping closer, his fingers brushing lightly against my arm. The distance between us disappeared as he wrapped his arms around my waist, pulling me close until our bodies pressed together. Without hesitation, his lips met mine, and I melted into him, a rush of longing coursing through me. My hands slid beneath his shirt as our kiss deepened, the outside world fading away entirely. Each kiss ignited a fire within me, stoking a passion that had been smoldering beneath the surface. His hands traveled over my body, leaving a trail of heat in their wake. I gasped against his lips as he caressed my back, drawing me closer until I could feel his heartbeat against mine. You're beautiful, he murmured between kisses, his hands finding the hem of my shirt. I can't get enough of you, I breathed, trembling under the weight of his touch. We really shouldn't, I began, but he silenced me with a kiss, his voice low and thick with desire. Let it happen. Just for tonight, let everything else go. With one swift motion, he lifted my shirt over my head, his eyes roaming over my body with open admiration. A mix of vulnerability and excitement surged through me as I stood before him, exposed but feeling beautiful in his eyes. His lips found my skin, trailing kisses along my collarbone, each touch sending ripples of heat through me. My hands explored his back, tracing the muscles beneath his shirt, longing to touch every part of him. He kissed me again, his hands moving to unfasten my bra. As the fabric fell away, I felt another wave of heat rush through me. He broke the kiss to look at me, his expression filled with awe. You're incredible, he whispered, his voice thick with longing. I want you, I confessed, boldness surging through me in the heat of the moment. Then let's make this unforgettable, he said, capturing my lips in another passionate kiss. Our bodies intertwined, the world outside disappearing entirely. I surrendered to the moment, feeling alive and utterly consumed by the connection we shared. Time seemed to stop as he pressed me against the wall, his hands exploring my body as though discovering it for the first time. The intensity of our desire pushed us to the edge, leaving me breathless and exhilarated. Eventually he pulled back, taking my hand and leading me to the bed. Are you ready? He asked, his eyes dark with passion. Yes, I whispered, my heart pounding with anticipation. We collapsed onto the bed, our bodies tangling together in a dance of desire and longing. It was a moment that felt both forbidden and thrilling, a connection that consumed us entirely. Days turned into weeks, and our encounters became more frequent. Every stolen glance, every fleeting touch, and every heated kiss felt like an escape from reality. One evening, after a particularly passionate rendezvous, we lay entwined in bed, the moonlight streaming through the curtains. I traced my fingers along Liam's chest, feeling the warmth radiating from him. "What are we doing?" I asked, breaking the comfortable silence between us. My question lingered in the air, heavy with meaning. "We're living," he answered, his voice calm and steady. For the first time in a while, I smiled at his response, but doubt still gnawed at the edges of my happiness. "What happens if someone finds out?" I asked, my voice tinged with unease. "Then we'll handle it," he said, gently tilting my chin so I had to meet his gaze. "I'm not afraid of this. I want you." His words sent a wave of heat through me, but I couldn't shake the sense of looming danger. "I want you too," I admitted, my voice carrying the weight of my feelings. "But this isn't just fun for me. It means something." His expression grew serious as he nodded. "It means something to me too. But we can't let fear stop us. We deserve to be happy." The sincerity in his voice softened my worries, and I leaned in, capturing his lips in a deep kiss. The intensity of our connection swelled, and I allowed myself to get lost in the moment, setting aside my doubts. As we kissed, a sense of freedom washed over me. It felt as though we were creating our own story, one filled with passion, desire, and the thrill of the forbidden. In the weeks that followed, we found ways to keep our bond alive despite the chaos of daily life. Every stolen moment felt more precious than the last, and I began to look forward to our encounters with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The thrill of our secret meetings, the way Liam's eyes shone with admiration and longing, and each kiss reignited a fire inside me that I had thought extinguished long ago. But no matter how much I focused on the happiness we shared, the reality of our situation lingered in the back of my mind. I couldn't escape the feeling that we were living on borrowed time, dancing dangerously close to the edge. Sometimes I wondered what it would mean if James ever found out. Would he be furious? Would he understand? Or would he see me as someone who had betrayed him, crossing a line that could never be uncrossed? One evening, as I prepared dinner, my mind raced with thoughts of Liam. I chopped vegetables mechanically, my thoughts far away, when James entered the kitchen, pulling me back to reality. "Hey, honey," he greeted, pressing a light kiss to my cheek. "What's for dinner?" "Just some pasta and salad," I replied, forcing a smile. He settled in and our usual light-hearted conversation resumed, but I couldn't shake the weight of the secrets I carried. It felt like I was wearing a mask, pretending everything was fine while a storm brewed beneath the surface. After dinner, I excused myself, claiming I was tired, and retreated to my bedroom. Sitting on the edge of the bed, my mind replayed the moments Liam and I had shared. The way his touch and his kiss made me feel alive again. I already missed him. Just then, my phone buzzed with a message. It was from Liam. "Can we meet tonight?" My heart raced at the thought. The anticipation of seeing him again, of feeling that electric connection, was too tempting to resist. I quickly replied, "Yes, I'll be waiting." As the night stretched on, my excitement built. I heard James moving around the house, watching TV in the living room, completely unaware of the plans unfolding behind closed doors. When the clock struck 10, a soft knock at my bedroom door made my heart leap. "Sophia?" Liam's voice was barely audible. I opened the door to find him standing there, as handsome as ever. The moment our eyes met, the air crackled with tension. Without a word, I pulled him inside and shut the door, closing out the rest of the world. "What if James sees you?" I whispered urgently. "He won't," he assured me, stepping closer. The warmth of his body radiated toward me, and I felt the magnetic pull between us. "I just needed to see you." Before I could reply, he closed the distance, capturing my lips in a passionate kiss. The world beyond my bedroom vanished as I melted into him, overwhelmed by the familiar rush of desire. Our kisses grew hungrier, and the weight of reality slipped away. We stumbled toward the bed, my thoughts clouded by the secrecy and the intoxicating heat of his touch. We tumbled onto the bed, lost in a whirlwind of kisses and caresses. I felt alive, exhilarated, and utterly consumed by the connection we shared. But as quickly as the passion had ignited, a shadow of doubt crept into my mind. What if this was all a terrible mistake? What if I was jeopardizing everything I'd built with James? Yet in that moment, none of it mattered. All I wanted was to be here with Liam, experiencing this thrilling reality where I felt truly alive. Hours passed and we lay tangled together, the weight of the outside world forgotten. I knew I should be thinking about the consequences, about the life I'd built with James. But in Liam's arms, everything felt perfect. The intimacy we shared was unlike anything I'd experienced in years. Eventually, the gravity of our situation began to seep in, and a pang of guilt hit me. "Liam," I said softly, breaking the silence, "what are we doing?" He looked down at me, his face serious. "We're living, Sophia. We're embracing something beautiful." "Yes, but it's so complicated," I replied, my voice trembling. "What happens if James finds out?" "Then we'll face it together," he said firmly, as if that alone could make it all right. "I'm not afraid of this." I wanted to believe him, but doubt lingered. "I can't just walk away from my life with James. He doesn't deserve this," I said, tears threatening to spill. "Do you love him?" Liam asked gently, his voice filled with concern. "I care about him," I admitted. "But it's not the same. I haven't felt this way in so long." "Then maybe it's time to figure out what you truly want," he said softly. "You deserve to be happy." For the first time, his words rang true. I had been so focused on the potential fallout that I hadn't allowed myself to think about my own happiness. As I looked into Liam's eyes, I saw not just desire, but the reflection of everything I had been missing. "I want this," I said at last, courage swelling within me. "I want you." His eyes sparkled with joy and relief. "Then let's stop wasting time," he said, pulling me into another kiss. With each kiss, we promised to embrace this beautiful, complicated connection. I knew the road ahead would be difficult, but with Liam beside me, I felt ready to face whatever came next. In that moment, I resolved to cherish every stolen moment and follow my heart, no matter where it led.